Good day, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. Today's lesson is Module 3, Our World, Part 2. Today's learning objectives are identify the rule of should and shouldn't, and then use the rule of should and shouldn't in speaking and writing. All right, I need you guys to be ready and get your books with you on hand. I'd like for you to open the student book on page 34, 35, and also page 70, and the workbook should be open on page 28. To begin our lesson, let me ask you something. If you look at these two pictures, what do you say to your friend when he or she is in pain? Did you guys think? That's right. If we look at the girl, what will you tell her? Yes, that's right. What's wrong, Sama? All right, and what about the boy? What will you tell him? What's the matter, Kareem? Yes, so now we know that there are two ways of asking about a person's situation or health. So, to inquire about someone's health, we use what's the matter and what's wrong to ask somebody about their health when we can see that something is wrong, or to ask somebody if there's a problem. For example, what's the matter, Jane? I've got a cold. You see, we're asking about his health. And the second example, what's wrong, Brad? I broke my brother's phone. And here we're asking about a problem. Now that we know how to ask about someone's health or a problem, let's see how can you give advice, make a suggestion, or express an opinion. Well, if you remember the objectives, it was all about one word actually. What was it? That's right, we use should. What do we use? Should. Very good. I guess that you all know that the verb should is one of the modal verbs, like can or could or might or may or would and so on. Well, to make a sentence using should to give advice or opinion, we start, of course, if it's a sentence with the subject. Very good. Again, let's remember the subject could be a noun or a pronoun. A noun like a name, like Sarah or Mahmoud, or a pronoun like he, she, we, they, I, and so on. Okay? And then after the subject, we put should, and then after that, we put the base form of the verb. What I mean by the base form of the verb, that I don't add anything to it. Anything like sed or ing, the normal endings of a verb. All right, let's see the example together. She should visit the doctor if she is sick. She should visit the doctor if she is sick. Visit here is the base form. We don't add anything to it. Okay? Now, this form of the sentence, we call it the affirmative form. Very good. Another form of sentences using should is the negative form. And what do we mean when we say negative? Of course, we mean not. So whenever we say negative, we need to add not. So let's remember together how to make the sentence. The subject, very good, whether noun or pronoun, and then, of course, should plus not. Should plus not. And then the base form of the verb. So not will be put between should and the main verb. All right, let's check our example. He shouldn't drive too fast. He shouldn't drive too fast. Very easy, right? All right, let's practice and check what have we learned so far. Use the prompts and the pictures to form correct sentences using should or shouldn't. Here we have the prompts in number 1, 2, and 3. And then you have opposite them pictures. I'd like for you guys to read them, look at the pictures, and form your sentences using should or shouldn't. Now, before you start answering, I'd like for you to pause the video for a bit, write your sentences, and then check with me later. All right, let's see what we've done. Number 1, you be late and school. And number 2, you brush and then your teeth. And then number 3, you and then be rude and people. Let's check our answers together. Very good. So number 1, the answer will be you shouldn't be late for school. Very good. And then number 2, you should brush your teeth. Obviously, it's very important. And number 3, you shouldn't be rude to people. This is very, very important. All right, very, very good, everyone. I am so proud of you. All right, moving on. Now that we've completely understood how to form sentences in the affirmative and negative forms using should or shouldn't, let's learn how to ask for an advice or an opinion. When you ask means that we're dealing with questions here. So we're going to learn how to form a question. There are 2 ways to form a question though. The first one is using, obviously, the question word. Yes, that's right. For example, what here. So we start with the question word. And we all know when we ask a question, we don't go for the subject. We go for the verb. Very good. So after what, we use should, our modal verb. And then after should, we put the subject. So what did we do here? We switched the places of the subject and should. And then at the very end, we put the verb. And don't forget, ever, the question mark. Very good. Let's see the example. What should I do? What should I do? Very good. So we have what, and then should, and then the subject I, and then the main verb do. All right. Now there's another way to ask using should or shouldn't, which is simply by starting with should. Very easy. And then we put, very good guys, we put the subject. Awesome. And then after that, yes, that's right, we put the verb. Very good. Did we forget something? Yes, we did, of course. Don't forget the question mark. Awesome. Let's see the example together. Should I bring a jacket? Should I bring a jacket? Again, we started with should, then the subject I, and then the main verb bring, and then the object. Very good. Super easy, right? I agree. All right, let's practice again. Rearrange the words to form correct questions. As you can see, we have scrambled words. I need you guys to form them in correct questions. Pause the video for a bit, and then let's check our answers later. Okay, let's see. Number 1, should I tell her? Number 2, what should they bring for the party? And finally, number 3, should they call the doctor? Awesome job, everyone. Very good. Okay, now I'd like for you guys to open the student book, page 70, and then let's sum up all that we've learned together from the beginning of our lesson. We use should or shouldn't to ask for or give advice or express an opinion or make a suggestion. So we use should for all of these usages. In the affirmative form, we put I should eat, you should eat, they should eat. As you can see, we don't change the base form of the verb no matter the subject. Okay? And then in the negative form, what do you see here again? That's right. Again, it shouldn't eat. You shouldn't eat. They shouldn't eat. Again, even in the negative form, we also don't change the base form. Okay? And then what about the questions? What do we do here? Yes, that's right. Again, we don't change the base form. So this is what we get so far. To sum up, when we use should or shouldn't, the base form of the verb stays the same without adding any letters. Now, what else do you notice with the questions? That's right. We start with should or shouldn't with our question and then put the subject. Okay? Now, when we start with the verb, the question, we answer with either yes or no. This is very important. When you start your question with a verb, the answer will be yes or no. Should I eat? Should he eat? The answer will be either yes, he should, or no, he shouldn't. Okay, now let's go back in the student's book, page 34, and I would like for you guys to read the text of yesterday's lesson, Kids Health, and underline should and shouldn't in the text. Take a small bit of time and then come back to me. Okay, let's see if we have the same results. Nice, very good. As you can see, you can use them in different situations. I'm so proud of you guys. Now let's move to the workbook, page 28. Exercise number 2. Read the prompts, look at the photos, and write sentences. Use should or shouldn't. Now, if you look at number 1, the answered example, in the picture we have a girl with a sore throat. She's coughing, and what was the advice? Let's see. You should drink some warm water with honey and lemon juice. Super easy. Now I'd like for you guys to pause the video one more time, make up your sentences using the pictures, and then let's check later. Okay, let's see the answers. Number 2, you should stay in bed. Number 3, you shouldn't eat any sweets. Of course. Number 4, you should go to the doctor, obviously. And finally, number 5, you shouldn't eat burger and chips. Super job, everyone. Very good. Finally, let's go back to the student's book, page 35, exercise number 5. Now we're going to match the words in the blue box with the empty column on the left, and then we're going to use the whole box to form questions and then giving advice and asking for advice. Remember, when speaking, use the vocabulary and language you've learned through the lesson. Okay, let's see one answered example for us here. We have chosen the word headache with the should or shouldn't exercises or activities to be done. Let's see the example. What's wrong? I've got a headache. What should I do? You should sleep for a while. You shouldn't exercise. Now, pause the video for a bit, match the rest of the sentences, and then come back to me. Okay, let's see if you matched it correctly. Number 2 is, yes, very good, sore throat. And then number 3, nice, very easy, toothache, nice. And then finally, number 4, stomach ache, very good. Now use these prompts here to make up your questions about the problem and expressing the problem and finally giving the answer. Okay? Let's see if you did number 2 like I did. As you can see, in number 2 we have sore throat, and then should for drink warm tea or milk, and shouldn't for drink cold water. Now, how will the answer will be? Nice, very good. What's wrong? I've got a sore throat. What should I do? You should drink warm tea or milk. You shouldn't drink cold water. Awesome job, everyone. I am so proud of you. You've been great this lesson. Very good. That's it for today's lesson. Hope you guys learned something new and enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.